Mueller just filed bombshell new charges in Trump-Russia probe. Special counsel Mueller just filed a grave new indictment against beleaguered former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort and his longtime business partner in Ukraine. Mueller's prosecutors filed paperwork to revoke Manafort's bail last week, but today's superseding indictment names a new co-conspirator and charges. Embedded below, Paul Manafort and his Ukrainian chief of staff Konstantin Kilimnik have been indicted for witness tampering by reaching out to a pair of former journalists whom they hired to secretly direct a foreign influence operation in the United States they called the Habsburg Group. Kilimnik is a Russian military intelligence-trained translator who spent over a decade working closely with Paul Manafort in Ukraine while they advanced the Kremlin's political interests. This February, Manafort and Kilimnik reached out to their former journalist partners asking them to deny any links between the influence operation and the United States, which is at the core of the government's case against the former Trump campaign manager. Mueller's indictment reads, the two journalists told special counsel Mueller about Manafort's approach and Kilimnik's messages on his behalf, even calling it an attempt to suborn perjury. Manafort hired the two former Wall Street Journal writers with checkered pasts to pay and manage two former European heads of state to lobby the U.S. Congress. They helped conduct a public relations campaign supporting pro-Kremlin kleptocrat, Viktor Yanukovych, using a front company called the European Center for a Modern Ukraine. A search of the Internet Archive plainly reveals that the European Center for a Modern Ukraine had a web page about its U.S. allies project. Former Italian Prime Minister Romano Prodi even wrote a New York Times op-ed on behalf of the effort to help Putin's allies in Ukraine, but a day later, Manafort's client Yanukovych fled to Russia. Mueller's indictment charges Manafort for secretly employing former leaders of both Italy and Austria in his unreported U.S. lobbying operation paper over the problems with the pro-Kremlin leader he installed in Kiev. Now, Paul Manafort is facing imprisonment before trial and he's handed special counsel Mueller a textbook example of consciousness of guilt in his trial for operating a secret foreign influence campaign which is tantamount to spying for a foreign government against the United States. And today's filing details how Manafort used a former Russian military intelligence officer to try and cover up the entire affair.